Hey, Dr. Fisher here. This morning, I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I have been working on for my own self. As many of you know, I am constantly working on uh, my own health, my own mental emotional status. I think it's a constant work, and for me, I want to be at my peak. I want to continue to be at my peak. I want to continue to work to that next step. Being for me, like being successful. Wealth in my mind is the ability to hold complex thoughts, to be able to hold multiple emotions, feel freely, understand what it is that I want, and that's a constant work for me. So recently, I had something pretty cool happen as I'm going through my own journey of healing. And what happened was, is I had a new level of engagement for my own ability to hear myself. This is something, I've always been able to kind of hear general stuff if I ask myself a question, that sort of thing. But recently, uh, something changed, something shifted in my own kind of psyche, some of the work that I've been doing with others. So thank you. Shout out for those who have been helping with me with that work. Hi, guys. Just talking about the ability to have health and what that looks like. And I'm just describing what that health looks like for me. And for me, a big driver for me to have this mental health is the ability to have connection with others. My wife specifically. Let's be real. She's my number one. So my kid's going to be next, and my family's after that, depending on your hierarchy, what's important to you. And so again, this is kind of a new thing for me. Like I've always been able to hear myself when I ask questions, but recently, like when I ask questions of myself, like I get, most of the time, the reality is oftentimes we think in kind of a black and white as a child, and anything that this is a general rule, doesn't apply to everything, but generally speaking, there are things that you're doing and thoughts that you're having that are very black and white. That means you probably got a pretty skewed perception of them, and you're not seeing all the complexities that go in that situation, whatever that is. So that's just kind of a rule of thumb that I live by. If all I see is the black and white, I know I'm missing stuff. Uh, and so from that perspective, again, going back to this idea of being connected, right? In order for me to be more connected with my wife, which is one of my number one desires in life, which I would love to see what you guys' health desires are, right? So comment down below. What are some of your number one, number two, number three priorities, and what's important? What does it mean to be healthy in your life? And so again, just to clarify, for me, one of my number one priorities is for me to be able to be connected with myself and with my wife. Now, uh, one of the things I've realized is this new level of me being able to hear myself means that changes the dynamic big time between myself and Natalie. And so there's definitely been some friction as our systems are changing. As I'm listening, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like how I'm interacting with you here and what I'm doing. Oh, I don't like how you're interacting with me here. And that's not working for me anymore. So it's been a very interesting adjustment. Just know that that comes every stage of your own progression. There are things like grief, stages of grief. There are things like being aware of your own senses, your own internal dialogue, your own programming, negative programming being one of the most important because, you know, our brains are set up where the negative programming is more intense because we just want to make sure we're not going to die, right? So understanding that you're like trying to swim upstream with this idea. So what I'd love to have you do is in the comments down below, write. If you ask yourself a question right here, right now, and listen, do you get an answer? Right? It's kind of new for me because when I do, I ask myself, is there, can I hear myself? I actually hear a yes now, which, feels kind of crazy making. Just FYI, this stuff, this kind of sitting and processing and being with yourself makes you feel a little crazy, because the reality is we don't just have that black and white, one or two thoughts at a time. Usually we have a whole bunch of different thoughts. And to be able to sit with and hold space for all those things makes you feel a little crazy. Okay? So that's the question that I have for you today. Can you hear yourself? And if you can't, hey, that's where you are. That's where I've been. So I'm excited to jump into this new stage for myself of listening to myself. It's kind of scary, I'm not going to lie, to hear that I have differing opinions and some of those thoughts and whatnot. The reality is, to sit with yourself and hear what you actually think sometimes is pretty freaky. It's like, oh my gosh, do I really think that about myself and about the other person? Huh? Yeah, right. That now, the beauty of this process is that doesn't mean you have to act on it. And the more you're able to like get with yourself and know who you are, the less chance you have of actually acting that out. It's when you feel a certain way underneath and you're not aware of it, that then it takes over and you act, or you react rather than have the choice to act. So, again, one more time, ask yourself in this moment, do I hear myself? Right? What I really want. And I'm going to continue this conversation as we go along here in the next little while with my own journey in this. So, love to hear your comments down below. This is Dr. Fisher signing out. Look for some more videos coming soon.